It is time for the most motivational segment in all of sports. Wild swears we get a lot of viewer mail. Turns out he's telling the truth. So, there's Wild's letter reading music. Do you think he's watching from Hawaii?
No.
I bet he is.
It might be, but if he's at like the pool bar,
It might just be on.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
That'd be nice.
So if so, K-Dub, it's for you. Dear Nick.
Wow.
Interesting.
Oh, they writing Nick.
I noticed Wilds has been out all week. I love Lil Wayne, Greg, and Coach all pulling the extra weight, but I was curious where is Wilds and when he will be coming back. Thanks, of course, Ryan and Brian. Well, as we mentioned, Kevin Wilds on a much-deserved vacation to Hawaii with his wife and 2 wonderful children. There's a live picture of K-Dub, Brew. That's not really.
I'll be down there
it's
soon.
not really beach attire. That's your.
That'll look uncomfortable, Brew.
All right, time now for the most motivational segment in all of sports, the Bud List.
As I said, Paul George almost landed on here. Obviously, he needs some motivation. And the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis and Dame. I could have thrown them on too.
And Bobby Portis now suspended for 25 games.
I went with Ja Morant.
Oh.
All right, and Ja, look, keeping his nose clean. You're playing well. Numbers a little bit down, but you're still playing great, averaging 21 points a game. And your team is the number 2 seed in the West. But you haven't recaptured the stature that you had before your issues a couple years ago with the gunplay and all of that. So you weren't an all-star. You're clearly an all-star caliber player, but you weren't an all-star this year. You've been injured, banged up a little bit, only played about 30-something games. But also I think the image has played a role in why you weren't more considered for an all-star. But here's where I want to motivate you, Ja. That can change. You guys, as I said, are number 2 seed in the West. Make us continue to play well in the regular season and keep that 2, maybe 3 seed, and then make a playoff run. That is what you need to do, Ja. You are, I get it, Jaren Jackson Jr., all-star, congratulations, but you are the best player on this team. If you lead the Grizzlies on a deep playoff run, you don't even have to get to the finals, but you lead them on a deep playoff run, then you can recapture your stature. I even think eventually you could get back in that face of the league conversation because you are such a dynamic player. But the big is the rest of the season and the playoffs. Ja, I believe in you. I'm trying to give you some motivation.
And they're sitting at the 2 seed. So
yeah. And Oklahoma City, we talk about their youth.
Yeah.
Memphis has been to 3 playoffs with Ja.
Yep.
So it's not like they don't have some experience. They've won a round. So they're not as inexperienced as an OKC is. So they could make a run. Ja, lead them on the way. All right, at number 2, KD, Kevin Durant. Now, my former one of Coach's favorite people, my former radio host on The Odd Couple, Rob Parker, he called Kevin Durant recently, but he said it before when I was doing the show with him. He called him NBA dead, meaning there's no buzz. He's not really on the radar. We know he's great, but nobody's thinking about him. I won't go that far, KD. But what I would, you're not NBA dead. Yeah. But there's no expectation. You're an all-time great. Some say top 10, or, even though there's 15 people, in that group. But people are like, KD is great. Look at his numbers. And nobody expects a thing as far as winning. Not many people are in this position, but KD, I expect more from you. I think you're better than this. So all I'm asking, it's not a ton, just get the Phoenix Suns. You got Devin Booker, who's great. You got Bradley Beal, who's not bad. You got some decent role players, Royce O'Neal, Tyus Jones. Just get in the play-in. I'm not even asking for the playoffs. Just get into the play-in, okay? If you do that, no one can call you NBA dead. And then here's what I think happens. You get traded in the offseason. Hopefully, my desire is Dallas. I hope you end up in Dallas with Kyrie and Anthony Davis. It'd be great for the league. You might even win a championship without Steph. So, KD, just make the play-in this year and then move on in the offseason. I believe.
Brew, what about a different Texas team? The Rockets.
You like the Rockets.
I think the Rockets have the pieces.
Mix.
He could, I think it'd
keep
be
it
good.
young.
Yeah, I'm leaning toward keeping it young.
Okay.
But, all right, at number 1, I just mentioned one of the coach's favorite people in Rob Parker. This is not one of his most famous people in Luka Dončić. Coach really don't think he can ball. Why else would he get traded at 25?
I said there's probably a reason.
Yeah, I mean, look, Luka, I am not overreacting to your slow start with the Lakers. But here's the thing. Even though you've been a superstar, most people, and Nick talked about watching most of your games, most people don't watch most of your games. Even though you've been on a great team, you've been a great player, most people they pay attention more in the playoffs or every now and then they see you in a big game. But now, because you got traded kind of unceremoniously, not kind of, definitely, because you went to the Lakers, the glamour franchise of the league, because you're playing with LeBron James, the face of the league, now everybody's watching every play. And so you've seen it. They're picking out your negatives. You've had bad games before, but now those games are highlighted, those bad shooting nights, those turnovers, that ball dominance, all of that is highlighted. So what I'm saying to you is you do have to step it up. You are a generational talent, no question about that, but you're going to have to be better than ever because you're playing with LeBron, because everybody's watching you more closely. So the defense, the ball movement, I mean, he just stands there when he don't have the ball, just standing there. Got to do a little bit more than that. And here's the thing, and Nick or Greg may have referred to it earlier. Don't defer to LeBron. And LeBron is saying to you, be yourself and don't defer, but he's not just going to defer to you. That's just not LeBron. He's not going to defer to you. You got to take it. You have to take ownership of this team. LeBron will respect that. He wanted Anthony Davis to do it. Anthony Davis never did it. You have to just take it and make it your team. And again, LeBron will respect that, but that's a challenge when you got a legend right there. But that's what you have to do to really make this thing work. Luka, coach may not, but I believe in him.
What you're saying is Luka has to do to the Lakers what Kevin Wildes did to this show. Just show up and just be like, I'm the leader. Hey, we're going to do things a different way. You're just going to do it. And so, you know what? It worked. It worked for us. It worked for them.
I don't know if Luka was depressed or not, but he should be depressed after watching that B-roll.
Oh my God. That was a bad game last night.
That was all one game? Oh, my God. I thought that was a season worth of highlights. I didn't realize that was just a game. Whew. I might need a Zoloft after that. All right, so I thought the Giants had a bad offseason last year, and things were tough for them, and it was all on Hard Knocks, and that, it played out about as rough as it could be. So they were under pressure. But now when I look at what the Browns are facing this offseason, they're under more pressure than the Giants are. And listen to this lineup that they have. So they're $28 million over the cap right now. They've got $58 million in dead money. They've got a Deshaun Watson salary cap number of $73 million. Myles Garrett wants to be traded, which will add $36 million of dead money. And he's your best player, and it tells the whole world, hey, I'm really good, but I don't think I want to be here any longer. So that message is out in the universe. Nick Chubb's a free agent. They don't have a left tackle, and now they've got the second pick in the draft, which is the first-round draft pick they've had in 3 years, and they got to figure out, are they going to draft a quarterback? Are they not going to draft a quarterback? It's about as big a decision as you can make in a quarterback draft that's probably a lot softer than ones we've seen here in the not-too-distant past. So I don't even know where you start with these numbers in this situation. So good luck.
Also, that's a great one, Coach. And the thing is, that's a place, we talked about the Giants not wanting to deal with Deion and Shador. That's a place where Deion might be like, I don't necessarily want my son. They haven't developed a quarterback in decades. Obviously, it's cold, the weather up there. And Deshaun, he's injured, but
and you got to deal with the Ravens, and you got to deal with
the division.
Ravens, Bengals, Steelers.
What would you do, or what do you think they should do? Maybe you trade it and just.
I don't think Deshaun Watson's going to work out in any context. So now it's just a function of how do you minimize the damage that's there, and to tell you the truth, I don't know what the good answer is because they keep pushing money back, so these numbers are bigger and bigger, and he's probably not going to play. So you've got to get the quarterback of the future. The question is, are any of these guys who are on the top of the draft really the quarterback of the future, or are you setting yourself up now for another high pick that, 4 or 5 years from now you're back in the same spiral?
Yep. Greg?
All right, I'm going to add Dan Campbell to the Bucks. And Dan, I trust you, man. In Dan Campbell, we trust, if you're a Lions fan. And I do believe that to be true. A couple years ago, you're up 17 in the NFC Championship game, and you decide to go for it versus kick the field goal. We know how that game played out. After that game, you end up saying to your team, guys, this may have been our only shot. This season followed it up with an excellent regular season. Your quarterback's playing great. You got a great running game. Injury bug happens, but you're still home field advantage, number 1 overall seed, and you're outed in the divisional round. And more importantly, you lost a couple coordinators and a couple coaches that went with those coordinators. And so, Dan, where I believe in you is you built this thing to be what we've now loved and now we enjoy to watch every Sunday and Thursday and Monday night. But this is what you have to replace. Wow. And last season, and this is why I believe that you can get it done, because you had time to prepare for it. You're not like a coach that these coaches just up and left after one season of having success. You knew that you were going to be up against this. So I believe that you have a plan in place and you've started to already fill those voids with coordinators already. And the issue is, will they still be able to provide what you want? And will it look a little different? Will it look better? Or will it look worse? Dan, I trust and believe in you. The team has your identity. Keep it that way.
That's a good one. That's a good one. They shouldn't. I mean, with a young coach, they still got a lot of talent there. I mean, a lot of us think they might take a step back, but they don't necessarily. They shouldn't on paper.
All right, Brew. It's a little after 4:10 on a Thursday, which means it's, of course, time. Kevin Wilds is not here for the Sports Media Ombudsman. We look over the sports landscape and add it to the Bud list. Quick story, because Brew, I know you're a Domino's guy. Not the pizza place, nothing against them, but the Domino's player. So I, a couple years back, hosted a party, invited a colleague, like, hey, we're all playing Domino's, having a big Domino's party. You should come. I said, can't wait, I'll be there. Shows up, we're all having a great time. He walks in, he's like, don't you guys know this is a dumb game? Smart people play Settlers of Catan or chess. This is for morons. I'm like, well, then why'd you come to the party? And you might say, Nick, that's ridiculous. That definitely didn't happen. You're correct. It didn't happen. However, that is essentially what the All-Star Game pregame show was. Bunch of folks who didn't have to show up, showed up to then tell us how much it sucked. And I'm here to tell you, that's what your podcast is for, my friend. That's what, can you imagine if Fox's Major League Baseball's coverage was the way NBA coverage is? If Poppy, Jeter, and A-Rod were like, you know what? You know when baseball was good? When we played? You know when it's bad? Tonight in the game you're about to see? But that's what we have with the NBA right now. On the biggest, most marquee events, we have the people right before the game telling us these teams stink and the game's no good anymore. Then right after the game saying that was a bad game. And now we have active players like Draymond Green joining in for a celebration of the evening. Everyone's allowed to have whatever opinion they want. But don't sign up to be a part of what should be a celebration of an event to know you want to napalm the event. If you think it's a bad event, then be like, you know what? I'm not going to be a part of the broadcast of it. Wouldn't invite me to somewhere I guarantee Brew does speaking engagements all the time. I guarantee Brew's never gotten to the lectern and been like, this thing sucks. I can't believe I'm here right now. I think Brew, if he thought he was going to say that, he'd be like, you know what? I will politely decline that event. So everything doesn't have to be all positive all the time. But I do feel like the actual game broadcasts for the fans should be promotional rather than attacking. And then if you have issues with it, save that for outside of the broadcast. So I was disappointed with that this weekend.
It's interesting, and I don't think this weekend, unless I missed it, like Barkley and Shaq and those guys weren't really bad. You know, they've been critical of the game. I like them, though. I like them. And I like Draymond, but I was shocked at how far Draymond. Like, I give him credit for being honest. Like you said, that's what you want him there for. But he napalmed the game. Like
napalm.
I was stunned at that, and wouldn't be surprised.
I felt like it set the tenor for then the conversation Monday, because I felt that the All-Star weekend, there were too many breaks and there wasn't enough basketball. But the actual games I thought were good. But I thought the conversation Monday, the die was cast that we were just going to be discussing. Everyone else was discussing how much it sucked, and I thought it started with Draymond, and I didn't.
What I'll say is and maybe they all felt the same way, but some of those guys that were on the set with him, somebody could have been like, well, hold on, they're playing a lot hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, giving a little adverse opinion, not just for the sake of the league, but just out of truth. Like, I would think, well, hold on, there are some positives.
So you love the game.
What? I liked the actual games.
I
thought the actual basketball was good.
The 1/10 of the time that they were playing, it was good.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.